Question number 3, Rawiri. Rawiri Waititi. My apologies, sir. Just when you're ready.
Kia ora, e te pika, kia ora tātou. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by all his government statements and actions?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr Speaker, and especially our nearly $7 billion investment in infrastructure, which will go towards upgrading and building new hospitals, mental health facilities, classrooms, rail and roads across the country. And our infrastructure investments will make it easier for Kiwis to get on with their daily lives, create the jobs and opportunities, and ultimately contribute to a growing and productive economy.
Does he support his Deputy Prime Minister's claim that 99.5% of the submissions on the Regulatory Standards Bill were fake and driven by bots? And if so, can he provide evidence for this?
Well, I think the Minister has clarified his comments and said he also meant that that was about form submissions. But what I'd say is the purpose of this legislation is to make sure we make better quality rules and regulation so that it's not a drag on productivity, so that we can grow the economy faster.
Does he support his Deputy Prime Minister's statement regarding the Crown's failure to consult with Māori on the Regulatory Standards Bill that, quote, meaningful consultation effectively requires you to be racist, end quote?
Well, what I'd say is that there has been good pre-consultation from the Ministry for Regulation around this bill over the summer period, and there's a 4-week select committee process, and I just say to all people who want to contribute to that bill to make it better legislation, feel free to contribute through the select committee process.
Does he agree with the Ministry of Justice that, quote, the omission of the treaty from the Regulatory Standards Bill does not recognise the constitutional significance of the treaty nor the Crown's duty to acknowledge the rights and interests of Māori in the development of policy, end quote? Or does he agree with the man who wrote the bill that there is, quote, absolutely no reason, quote, to consider the treaty when making law?
As I've said before, I just would encourage Māori, non-Māori, anybody who wants to strengthen this bill to contribute through the select committee process.
Does he accept the treaty? Does he accept the Waitangi Tribunal's finding that excluding the tiriti from a regulatory standards bill and its principles risks erasing pre-existing Māori rights in the same way the treaty principles did?
I'd just say to the member, we've had a pre-consultation period, we've had a first reading, we've got a select committee process before a bill comes back to this House. It's important in that select committee process, given the devil will be in the detail of the implementation of this bill, that people have their say and make a contribution through the select committee process.
Can he explain why he said he was, quote, comfortable, unquote, with the senior cabinet ministers publicly calling a performance celebrating Te Ao Māori and Te Tiriti o Waitangi, quote, a load of crap, quote, unquote, as Chris Bishop did during the Aotearoa Music Awards?
Well, I think the Minister has said that he probably, in hindsight, should have kept his opinions to himself. But as that member will know, there is lots of different tastes in music. As I've said publicly, I quite like country music, but a lot of people give me grief for that too and use similar language that Chris Bishop has used.